Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing the latest developments in the presidential race. We're going to be looking at the polls, see what's been happening lately, and try to predict what's going to happen in November. So obviously we have Trump and Pence versus Joe Biden. We don't know his VP pick yet, but some likely choices is probably Kamala Harris or Val Demings. Especially since this whole George Floyd case is taking place. It's becoming more of, I guess, a necessity for Joe Biden to pick a woman of color. So let's look at some things lately. Let's look at President Trump's approval. So, as we can see right now, his approval sits at 43.5, a disapproval of around 54. Well, sorry about that, it just refreshed. So, if you look at that, it's not good for the president right now. It's diminishing his reelection chance. I think he needs around a 47 to 48 approval rating to win reelection. Certainly, 43 to 44% approval rating won't cut it. This is his all-time low for pretty much the year. So that's not looking good for him, and we're just gonna have to look at some other polls and see what happens. In terms of the betting odds, Biden's beating Trump, not the betting odds, but the national 8 points. And looking at the betting odds, Biden is now beating Trump after Trump led for quite some time by pretty considerable margins. So let's now turn that back to the map right here. So I'm just going to start filling in some states, and I'm just going to point out real quick. If the election were held today, I think Joe Biden would win. And I'm going to clarify that right away. Because in the case right now, we probably see a great increase in African American turnout, Latino turnout, basically a huge increase in non-white turnout, and increase in youth turnout too. I'm not sure what's going to happen by November. Everything could change. You know, this is such a volatile election. We don't know what can happen. Something can happen to Biden. Biden could majorly screw up and ruin his chances. Or Trump could screw up again and even lessen his chances more than what it is right now. So let's go across. So Nevada, I'm going to put that in the main Biden column. If we have increased Latino turnout because of this whole protest thing, increased African American turnout, that's really going to hurt Donald Trump because Trump needs lower turnout from that certain demographic in order to win, or he needs to increase support. But I don't think that during this time he's really earning any support. The state of Arizona, I'm going to put in the lean Joe Biden column. Again, the same reasons what I did for Nevada, and also the trends that Arizona's been following. Arizona's been going more and more blue, and they are willing to settle with more moderate choices. So that's where I put that. New Mexico is going to go in the likely Democratic column. Reason for that is New Mexico's been blue since 2008. It's not necessarily a lean state, but it's not a safe state yet. It's kind of in the middle. That's why we call it a likely state. New Mexico was trending to the right. I'm not sure what's going to happen this time, but it's not going to trend enough, in my opinion. Colorado, likely Biden. I mean, this state has been trending blue. It hasn't gone red since Bush, and it's just been trending more and more blue as it's embracing more democratic policies. So that's where I'm going to leave that. I'm going to narrowly give Nebraska 2nd District to Donald Trump. There isn't really a lot of information on the 2nd District, so I can't give you a lot of details, but Nebraska is more of a rural state, and it tends to be more white voters. So if you're trying to get an increased African American turnout, you're not really going to get that in the state of Nebraska. Or maybe I'm wrong. But in the state of Texas, that's still going to likely go for Trump. It's trending more blue, but I don't think it's going to be enough yet. I think this state could probably flip around 2024, 2028, more the latter, more likely. The state of Minnesota is going to go likely Biden. And Biden doesn't need Klobuchar anymore to get to these margins. One, you have the increase in the protesters there. That's where it originated. There's huge African American support there for Joe Biden, and they are now all excited. So that's really going to help with Joe Biden. And yeah, Biden doesn't need Klobuchar anymore because a lot of a good portion of the Democratic Party has rejected her now because of her past record of letting various police officers off the hook for shooting unarmed people, from what I recall. Iowa is so likely to go for Donald Trump. They're just a majority white state. You're not going to see totally a whole lot of diversity in Iowa. Very rural white state, and it's just continuing in the Trump trend. I'm going to skip some of these states for now. I'll just get some of these other ones over with. Ohio, just been trending red. I think it's going to stay that way. That's just following the trends. The state of Georgia is leaning Trump, but I still think that it's going to get closer for the Democratic Party, and possibly they could grab a hold of the state in 2024, 2028, based on the candidate that they put up. The state of Florida, that's a really tough one right now. A really tough one. I'm just going to put that in a Trump column right now. Because even during a very blue wave year, that state still went for the Republicans in the governorship and the senatorship. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's different for Donald Trump. That's where I'm going to leave it. I'm also going to leave North Carolina in the lean Republican column. So this could either go two ways. It could continue its trend more towards the Republican side, or it could get closer because of increased African American turnout. Both of those options are perfectly viable. The state of Virginia, that's likely going to go for Joe Biden. It's just going to be continuing its trend. I don't see it getting really closer at all. The state of New Hampshire, leaning in the Biden column, because if Trump's struggling in these Rust Belt states, he's going to struggle here too. I mean, New Hampshire isn't going to likely flip unless if these ones flip, and I'm going to get into these in a second. In the state of Maine at large, that's going to lean to Biden, and Maine's second district, it's going to go likely to Donald Trump. That's just following the same trends, and again, as I said before, if New Hampshire doesn't flip, Maine's probably not going to flip, Maine at large. The state of Pennsylvania, I'm leaning towards Joe Biden right now. Again, this could change. I'm not saying it's going to be Pennsylvania for Biden. Biden does have that appeal there. He has more union support. He has a support among the African Americans there. They can turn out more, and with more excitement in the party, that could really help Joe Biden. Same thing with the state of Michigan and Wisconsin. The closest is probably Wisconsin. That could really go either way, but I'm just leaving them in these columns right now because of what's going on now. Democratic voters are more excited. They're more willing to turn out. And with Trump's falling approval rating, he's falling in the betting odds and falling nationally. He is behind 8 points. I don't know if it's actually going to be 8 points on election day. I think it'll be closer than that. But that's just not a good sign because at this exact time, 4 years ago during the 2016 campaign, Donald Trump was only separated by 2 points from Hillary Clinton. So that's not a good sign for the president. Again, things are so volatile. In a month from now, I could have Trump winning. It could just change so quick. We just never truly know. So here's where I have Biden and whoever his vice president will be. According to my prediction, is 289 electoral votes, and the Trump-Pence ticket 249. Again, I'll say it one more time. I'm not saying this is going to be it. This is just me looking at the situation and assessing what's going on. Thank you guys for joining me today. If you have any disagreements with me or agreements with me, please let me know. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and share this video. Turn on those notification bells so that you know when I put my content